Hello, welcome to one more of our live streamings. We are the University of Love and Knowledge, and I am very happy to be here today with you. As we always say, whenever we start our live streamings, even in Spanish or in English, we always say a good life. So I hope you are having a good life, and I hope you will have a good life. What we're doing here every day is trying to communicate, to connect, to establish a dialogue with as many people as possible in order to help them find this which we have been working on, which we have been researching and trying to understand the same way a lot of people have been doing. And that is the reason why we decided to create this channel, so we could communicate with as many people as possible and share this information, this knowledge that we have acquired for quite some time now through investigation and work and study and everything that we do here. So I am very happy and very grateful that I have the opportunity to be here doing this live streaming. We do it in English every Friday, so I invite you to share, and I invite you to help us get to as many people as possible. So anyway, my name is April or Abril, and I am going to talk to you today about a very specific topic that I think it's important, and we don't think about it very much. When we talk about our will, we usually think about whenever or whatever, if we want to or not to do something, and if it's like the impulse to do things or the power to do things that we want to do. But it's important to understand, as we have been saying for quite some time now, whenever I say something that you don't understand, you can contact us and ask us, and then we will be able to explain furthermore whatever you don't understand. So you can leave your comments, your questions in our YouTube channel in the live chat, or you can also do it in our Facebook page. You can also do it during the live streaming on the live chat, or even if you leave your comments and the streaming is not going on live anymore, we will still read your comments and we will still give you the answer. Somehow we will give you the answer the next streaming. We will read the question and give the answer, or we will contact you. If you send your question, if you want to contact us through a WhatsApp number, we can also give you a number, and you can send us anything you want to know or share. So the number is plus 521 3320 554690. I'm gonna do it again because I was mixing everything. So plus 521 3320 554690. So anyhow, we're going to start talking about what the will means, what the power that it has on us, what is important. We have been saying for quite some time, I was saying at the beginning, that every thought, every word, every intention has a specific frequency. So being careful about the frequency we use when we think, when we feel, when we decide to do things, it's important. Why? Because imagine that I have an intention which is a negative intention, a negative thought, a negative will, to say it somehow. Even if I don't take it to the fact, even if I don't put it in practice, even if I don't do it, let's imagine that I have the intention to hurt someone, or I wish someone got hurt. Even if I don't actually hurt the person, what is going to happen is that the mere intention that I have is going to have an impact, beginning with me and then continuing with a lot of things that are going to happen afterwards. So I'm going to explain a little bit more. If we were saying from the beginning that everything is cause and effect, and a lot of times people wonder, how does that work? I always explain to you that cause and effect means that for every cause there is an effect. For every action there is a reaction. It's a mathematical formula, and it's a universal formula. It's a universal law. So it's not something that I decide, or it's not something that you can escape, or it's something that maybe if no one watches or no one sees, then nothing is going to happen. Because it's not like a punishment that comes from someone divine, or it's not a punishment that comes from a specific place or person. So whenever we are thinking about our religious beliefs, we are usually scared of what could happen to us if we do something that is wrong. Sometimes we believe that by confessing what we could call sins, that is going to help us not to have, let's say, a reaction or a consequence of whatever thing we did. So what happens is thinking in terms of the universe, not in religious terms or any philosophical terms. What happens actually is that for every cause there is an effect, no matter if no one sees, no matter if no one knows, no matter if no one was watching when you did that. So let's imagine that you steal something. Let's imagine that you hurt someone. Even if no one saw you, even if you don't go to jail because the police won't know, still you will have a consequence. So the same thing happens even if we are not the kind of people who steal or the kind of people who take things that are not supposed to be taken. Still, if you do it, you will have a consequence because the universe has a way of balancing everything. These universal laws, nobody put them there. They are there and they were created by the same universe because what we need is to keep the balance. So that is how it happens. That is how everything works. So it's a mathematical formula. So whenever there is an action, you have a reaction. Whenever there is a cause, there is an effect. So why is this important? Why should we understand this? Because as I was saying, even though no one's watching you, you will still have an effect. You will still have a reaction. You will still have to somehow have something that is going to happen because of what you thought, or because of what you did, or because of what your intention was. This is important to understand. So I'm gonna stop for a moment to say hello to the people who are already watching our live streaming and are very, very kind to leave their messages here. So hello to Veronica, Juan Jose, Rosie, thank you. And then we have a comment. We have a comment from Rosie who's saying OMG. And then Juan Jose is saying hi April. Hi April in that city. I send you a big hug and have a great Friday. Thank you, Juan Jose. Thank you from me and thank you from Mat City. And how can I serve you? Yes, see, now we're doing it in English. Excellent job, Juan Jose. Thank you so very much for writing our hashtag in English. And Rosie saying so pretty. Thank you, Rosie, as pretty as you. Oscar Refugio Carrillo is there too. Thank you so very much. I remind you that you can also share our live streaming so more people can get the opportunity to watch. I think there is a bug here. I'm sorry. So there, Yoli Erunes is there also. So hi Yoli, and Blanquita Mendiola, thank you very much for reacting to our video. So what I was saying is that it is important to understand that for every cause there is an effect. Why am I going on and on and on about this? Because this is very hard to understand, even though it sounds very easy, and we have heard this since the time we went to school, because it was one of the physical things that we learned from physics class, that they said that for every cause there was an effect, or for every action a reaction. It is still hard to understand. A lot of people ask me, how does that happen if no one's watching? How is it going to come into effect something that no one saw? Because like I was saying, because the universe has a way to balancing everything. That's the way it works. These are universal laws. The same is as if we notice, or if we look at the universal law of gravity. Even if you don't know that it exists, it will impact you. No one put it there. Those are ways in which our universe is balancing everything. Planets, thoughts, people, everything that is going on has to be organized by different kinds of laws. So as I was saying, if you think about the law of gravity, even if you don't know that it exists, what will happen if you fall from a 20-story building? Even if you don't know that gravity exists, you will die, you will fall. That's unavoidable. So the same thing happens with the laws of action and reaction, or cause and effect. Even if I don't know about it, if I do something that is wrong, the reaction, the effect, is going to be something that is wrong. A lot of the questions are, how long does it take for the effect to take place? Or how long does it take for the reaction to happen? It is an immediate reaction. Immediate. Why? Because if I think negatively, if I act negatively, the impact is going to come upon me immediately too. So it's not something that you will have to wait. A lot of the questions are, I notice that people do things that are wrong, but I notice that they live very happily ever after. That's what we believe. We think that even though they are doing something that is not right, they are being very happy. Now, a lot of the examples are, how about the people who sell drugs? Or how about the people who take advantage of others and take their money or their goods or whatever they have? I notice that they have a happy life and they don't lack anything. That's what we believe, because from the outside, when we look at them, we think that just because they have the money, everything is solved and they have good lives. We don't know what's going on inside, because we have forgotten that having money doesn't make your life good. Having houses or having cars or having material goods doesn't make your life a better life. So although society has made us believe that as much as you have is the better that you're going to live, that is also wrong. Sometimes we see people that have large amounts of money in their bank accounts, but we don't know what's happening with their life, with their health, with the way they live. We don't know what the mental ideas that they have to go through, if they have good nights of sleep, if they have good health, if they have healthy relationships with their families and their friends. We have no idea. Imagine how the lives of someone who is always doing something wrong must be. Not being able to sleep, not being able to have a plentiful life in the good way. So what happens is that everyone has a reaction. Everyone has an effect according to the action that you take into consideration. So what I'm talking about is that from the beginning of the idea, there is already a consequence. If you are thinking, well, sometimes I wish something happened to other people. Sometimes I look at people who have a lot of things and I wish they didn't have them. Or I notice that they have a new car and deep down in the bottom, I feel or I think I wish they didn't have it. Whenever you have a bad feeling, a bad wish regarding someone, that immediately impacts you, because that is a bad intention. So from the beginning, from the intention, even if you don't take it into action, it is already something that is wrong and it's going to have a consequence. That is why it's important to understand that we have to be careful with our feelings, with our thoughts, with our ideas, because they have a specific excuse me. They have a specific frequency. And so that is the reason why today I want to talk about your will, the importance of having a good will. And as I usually do, I looked for the definition to show you. Oh, I don't know what's going on today with my throat. So let's see. So what is will? I'm going to give you some of the words that I have for will, so we can come into the understanding of what will is or what will means. So your will is the mental power used to control and direct, this is important, to control and direct your thoughts and actions, or the determination to do something, despite any difficulties or opposition. So we usually, when we think about will, we think about the determination. And it's important to understand that, because yes, I need to have a specific will in order to take something into action. So that is the reason why I need to have a will to change my life. I need to have a will in order to do things differently. But that is why I have to start understanding that I have to have a positive will in everything I do. So the will is the mental power used to control and direct your thoughts and actions, or a determination to do something despite any difficulties or opposition. Now, what are other words that are related to your will? The mental faculty by which one deliberately chooses or decides. Unwavering firmness of character, willpower, thoughtness, resolution, a desire for a particular thing or activity, pleasure, mind, liking, fancy, unrestricted freedom to choose, pleasure, discretion, etc. So this is important because we always say that we have free will, and that's what makes us what we are. We are free to think, to choose, to decide. With this freedom, comes a responsibility. Who gives us this responsibility? Nobody gives us this responsibility but ourselves. Is this getting clear? This is very important. Nobody put it there. Nobody made it like that for you. It's you for yourself. So whenever I do something that is not correct, whenever I do something wrong, when my will is directed to something that may hurt someone, the consequence is going to go directly to me, even if nobody's watching. Why? Because I know who is going to be the judge of my actions. I am going to be the judge of my actions. Who is going to feel bad for doing something that is incorrect? I am going to feel bad for doing things that are incorrect. Even if I don't feel bad immediately, even if I don't care right now, what's going to happen is that at some point, I will not have this body. I will die. And then I will come into a process in which I will have to be conscious of everything that I did while I was alive. When I had this opportunity to grow, this opportunity to become better, to transcend, to evolve. So when I'm looking back into the actions that I was doing when I was alive, when I had this body, I'm going to look at myself and I'm going to feel so bad for doing things that were wrong. So it's not only what you feel, what you notice when you have this body, as we say, body of manifestation, because you will have the opportunity to look into your actions after you're dead, after you go, after this body perishes. This is important to understand because we are always thinking that anything that you do while you are alive is the only thing that matters, is the only thing that counts, and it's not that way. So what is going to happen is that when you are not here anymore as matter, when you are only as a mind, you're going to have the opportunity to look back into all of your actions, all of the things that you did, all of the things that you felt, all of the things that you thought, and you're going to look at yourself and you're going to feel an enormous pain, and you're going to desire, you're going to wish that you had done things differently. So that is why it is very important for us to start letting you know that this is something that you have to understand while you're alive, because it's the opportunity that you have. This is the opportunity that you asked for in order to be able to evolve, because evolution is the main goal. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for something that transcends beyond this life. We're looking for something that transcends beyond today, beyond everything that I do in this opportunity that I already had, this opportunity that I already got. But now I have the chance to understand better from everything that I do. So whenever you have a bad idea, whenever you have a bad intention, it is your opportunity to understand that that's not something that you should do constantly. Because from the beginning of the thought or the idea, the intention, there is already a specific frequency that you are imprinting in you, in your being, in whatever you do. So the next step is to take it into action, and then you will have a specific reaction according to what you do. Not only your thoughts, but your actions per se. So what happens is that is why it is also important thinking in the positive way. I have to have the good intention and then take it into action. So whenever I want to do something good for others, it's not enough just to want it to do it, but also to take it into action and go all the way. Why? Because actions matter, because actions count, because that is something that I'm going to take with me when I pass on. And that's also something good for me. So whenever I go and I don't have this body anymore, and I have the opportunity to look at my actions, my thoughts, my feelings, I will take with me every good feeling, every good thought, and every good action. That is going to be my treasure. That is going to be something that is going to keep me in heaven, if I want to say it that way. Because that's a real heaven. Having good things, good feelings, doing good things, good deeds, everything has to be according to what I feel, believe that are principles and values, universal principles and values. As long as we don't understand that, as long as we don't have the opportunity and the possibility to think that way, we're going to continue to suffer. We're going to continue to get sick. We're going to continue to have a lot of problems that we don't understand where they come from. And we are blaming luck. I'm always getting sick because I have bad luck. You don't have bad luck. Whenever you are always thinking, if you're always having negative thoughts, if you're always having negative ideas, what is going to happen is that you're going to have a specific consequence in your health. Why? Because as I was saying, bad thoughts have a specific frequency that impacts on you directly. Whenever you have a bad thought, you are the first one that gets the negative consequence for yourself. That is why we have to be born to a different way of thinking, because whenever we look at others and we're being selfish and we're being jealous and we're being envious, what we're doing is hurting our own self. And what happens when all of these thoughts go into the environment? What happens is that most of the people that surround us, most of the people that are next to us are getting these frequencies, these bad thoughts, these bad ideas. So what I'm creating is a magnetic field that is always negative, and I don't have the possibility to get out of it because my intentions are not the right intentions. So whenever you say, I don't know if in English they use this saying, but in Spanish they say the important thing is the intention. Well, in English they say is the thought that counts. I've heard that expression. So whenever you say, I was going to give you a present, but I didn't bring it, and they say it's the thought that counts. Well, thoughts count. They do, because they have a frequency. They have a specific intention that is going to have a specific reaction on you. And that is why it is important to start to understand what happens, because even if you don't take it into action, something that is wrong, by thinking about it, you already have an impact on you. And that's something that we need to start to understand. Everything we feel, we think, we do has an impact on our own life, has an impact on our environment, has an impact. Why? Because it has a specific frequency, because it creates a magnetic field, because this vibration that we're living in is not good for ourselves. We have to start looking at the way we think and we feel and start changing these very, very thoughts and feelings, because they are hurting us and they are hurting our environment and they are hurting our surroundings and they are hurting the people that we usually live with, that we are with, that we work with, that we have the possibility to interact with. So by understanding that constantly we are thinking with bad intentions, bad thoughts, bad ideas, that we have bad words in our mind, even if you don't say it, it will impact you. So the next step is, after you have the bad intention, is taking it into a bad action, hurting someone, doing things that are wrong. So what happens is, when I'm having an argument with someone and I'm having these horrible thoughts about that person, but not only do I have the bad and the horrible thoughts, but I take it into the next step and I say it and I hurt the other person by maybe saying whatever I think, which is hurtful, or maybe I can take it a step further and hurt the other one in a violent way. So can you imagine what the consequence will be if you go further into hurting someone? Not only thinking, but then doing this. The consequences are, I could say, horrible. Without, I don't think we're going to be able to imagine how bad it is whenever we hurt others with our thoughts, with our actions, with our feelings, with our intentions. And the worst part is that whenever you hurt someone, you are hurting yourself, even if you don't know. Sometimes we say things to hurt others and we're thinking, damn right, I already told him, I told him what to do, what to feel, and I shut him up. What you're doing is hurting yourself, because you are forgetting that whatever you do to others, you do it to your own self. And that is something that you have to learn, because it will have an impact. Words do not disappear. Thoughts do not disappear. Bad actions do not disappear, because they have consequences, because they create reactions, and we don't know how far these reactions will go. So it is important to start understanding, what is the kind of will that I need to use to impact my life? Do I need to have the will to change my life, to change my thoughts, to change my feelings, to create new mental archives, mental files through which I can live and feel and be better? Or do I have to continue living using this information that I inherited, this information that I learned through experience, and that society or my family or school taught me that they were okay? Whenever you were going to school, probably a lot of people would say, if they hurt you, you have to hurt them back. If they tell you something wrong, just tell them something that it's worse. So now we are understanding that no matter what the other one does, what you have to do is just listen, observe, and learn. Because if you get involved in that frequency, if you get involved in that negative vibration, you are hurting your own self. That's exactly what it means. So I want you to start thinking, observing, analyzing before you act, before you think, before you feel. And it sounds hard. It sounds difficult to do, but it is not impossible. We need to start on this road of learning. And that is why we talked for a while about living your life as a science, observing everything you do, you feel, you think, because that way you have the opportunity, the possibility to start learning from your own actions, from your own reactions, from your own feelings, and then start to build a better state of mind for you. Because that's something that you need to do, not for anyone else. A lot of times people tell me, but if I'm more patient, people are going to take advantage of me. That is not a problem. They can take as much advantage as they want. If you are changing, if you are evolving, if you are being enlightened by having the possibility to change, no matter what they do, you will always be at peace. You will always be okay. And the universe, the same way that the universe has these laws that balance everything, will also have the possibility to balance everything that happens to you. If your actions are good, if your thoughts are good, if your feelings are good, what is the kind of life that you're going to have for yourself? How do you think that it's going to be the retribution that you're going to obtain from the universe if you're always vibrating, creating this amazing magnetic field for your own? What are the kind of people that you're going to attract to your life? What are the kinds of situations that you're going to attract to your life? What is the kind of feelings that you're going to have for your own self? Being at peace, being an understanding that you are here to love everyone, and that whatever you do to others, you do it to yourself. So I might as well be kind, might as well be tender, might as well be good, especially good intentioned, because whatever I do to others, I do it to myself. So that is something that I need you, I want you, I invite you to start understanding in a different way, because something that we need to take into consideration. It's going to help us change our life. And it sounds difficult, but it's not. It sounds impossible, but it's not. It's something that we have to learn, and we have to do it now, because the world really needs a change. We need better values, we need better principles, we need to start living life in a different way, because otherwise nothing is going to change and we're going downhill. Things are getting worse and worse because people are acting selfish, because people are being envious, because people are being violent, and it's becoming a state of mind everywhere. So this is the invitation that I have for you today. Start looking at your own thoughts, your own ideas. So your actions according to your thoughts and ideas are good. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because sometimes, since English is not my native language, I kind of have I wish I could say a lot more in a different way, but I will learn. I will get better at this, and very soon we will be able to have dialogues in which you understand more profoundly what I'm trying to communicate, because the point that I want to get across is a lot deeper than it seems. Anyway, I'm gonna say hello to Jose Garcia, Berta Quesada, Guillermo Limon, Oscar Refugio, and everyone who's watching also on our YouTube channel and our webpage. I thank you for giving us the possibility to have you with us, Jose Santillan, and Cesar Rodriguez. Everyone who took the time to watch, please share, like our video, and help us get across to as many people as possible. I am very pleased to be here. I think that I have the best job in the world because I have the possibility to communicate something that I think is very important and that is going to change the world. Because as soon as we understand what we're doing here and why we should do and think and feel differently, the whole world is going to understand that we have to be better. And so that's what I wish for you, to have a better life, to have an amazing life, to have a very, very, very good life. Thank you and goodbye.